What's up guys, how's it going? This is another episode of Joseph Composed It. That's me. I haven't been posting a lot lately. I apologize. It's hard for me to be consistent. I got a bunch of things going on, but today I'm doing a speaker review for the Yamaha HS7 and the Genelec 8030C. These speakers are both great. Both of these sets of monitors are fantastic. They both give you a lot of different information, which is why you see I have both, because one of them gives me something, the other doesn't. And I think we'll see the value in that today on how it's good to have opposing speakers. I'm not going to go super in depth with the specs because I think we all know we don't care. How does it sound? That's the thing. That's what you want to know. How does it sound? And I'm going to give you guys my description of how they sound. You guys really like my Audio Technica versus Bayer Dynamic video, and I appreciate the praise for that. That's awesome. I hope this one does just as well. Alright guys, the speaker we're going to talk about first is the Yamaha HS7's. I'm sure this is not the first review you've seen of these speakers or the first time you've heard these talked about. These speakers are amazing. They're so popular in the studio world, at home and in commercial studios. The information that Yamaha chose to present in these speakers is so crucial to any mix ever, which is why so many people have them, or they have the original Yamaha HS7’s, which are the also black and white speaker that are passive. They need an amplifier, and those are really popular in the 80s and ever since then. Those are still popular today. Some of the top audio engineers still use those speakers. These are the newer model of them. I've had them for quite a while now. HS7's I bought after I had my pair of PreSonus's, and after I got these and worked on music for like a year or two, I was like, oh my gosh. They make you good. You have no choice. Like, you're gonna get them, and after having them for like 6 to 9 months, you're like, well, I just feel like I'm hearing everything and everything now. So they're really at the top of the quote-unquote intermediate level, because there are levels in that you enter that community, or once you enter that culture, there are levels. The Yamaha HS7's are what I would classify as an upper mid-centric speaker. The frequencies that it pushes out are mid-heavy and upper mid-heavy. The frequencies that are extremely in your face, the ones that get to you first, what you would perceive as treble, the upper mid speakers. They're what I classify as an upper mid-centric speaker. So you should know that in terms of layers of sound, of like highs, upper mid, mid, lower mid, sub, you're getting a lot of the upper mid and the highs. What seems like the highs, it's really a lot of mid and upper mid, but at first it's going to sound extremely bright to you, even though a pair of like 8030C's are supposed to be brighter than these. These are just very mid-centric, but that's how you get a fantastic mix, is paying attention to the mids, the magics in the mids. So if you want a pair of speakers that's giving you a lot of information, the highs and upper mids and mids, these are fantastic. Honestly, 9 out of 10 people could do their entire career on the Yamaha HS7's. I can and probably will keep these speakers for the rest of my music career because of, like I said, the information they choose to show is crucial to every mix ever. And doing vocal production on any other speaker, it just doesn't sound the same. It just don't sound the same. They're like $600–700. I got each of mine off of eBay. You can also get yours off of eBay. There's a lot of ways to do them. Sites like Z-Sounds, American Musical Supply, those sites do not endorse or sponsor me, but I always talk about those sites because, I mean, payments, no interest, like, they're fantastic. The Yamahas are the almost exact opposite of the Genelecs, and I'm going to get into that in a second, which is why I have both of them, because no speaker is perfect. The speaker you fall in love with, you're going to think it's perfect, but that's just a speaker you know. So that's a speaker you make things that you become emotionally attached to. No speaker is perfect. The Yamahas, like I said, put up that information up here, but you kind of lose it as you go down. So there's this scoop in the lower mids. It's rather odd, but it is what it is. And then you have sub. So it's like you have this sub, this is kind of gone, and you have all this. It's interesting. Depending on the genre of music, like I said, you could still have these speakers for almost everything that you do. But I could tell immediately that these were heavy in something and not in something else. And I was like, oh, well, I can't hear what I can't work on. You can't hear what you can't work on. So, no, you can't work on what you can't hear. Sorry. You can't work on what you can't hear. And that's a fact. The Genelecs pretty much give me that lower mid information. I remember when I was so excited to get these speakers. When I got the Genelecs, I was like, oh yeah, I'm in the big leagues now. I was like, I got big boy speakers now, because Genelecs are really, really popular speakers. I mean, they make speakers like the size of my window in like $500,000 studios. So they're one of those brands where they make highest quality of audio, and they also have their lower end, more budget friendly options, right? So these are the Genelec 8030C's. These are about $1,400, so twice the price of the Yamaha. I do see why. Getting them was interesting because before these, the best quality I had was like Yamaha, in terms of what I had been perceiving as clarity. Now, I also had the Cali Audio IN5s. Those were also amazing. The stereo imaging on those, nothing like I've ever seen, and it really made me understand, okay, so this speaker can have this, and this makes it really, really good. This speaker can have this, that makes it really, really good, even though they're completely different things, right? The Genelecs are what I would classify as a lower mid-centric speaker, similar to the KRK or the JBL, or even a pair of PreSonus's. I've gotten in my head and called them a more sophisticated cousin to KRK, because I had the KRK and I didn't love them, but these are also lower mid-centric like a KRK, and the sound stage on them is really, really nice. The trails, the doubling, panning, reverbs, all that jazz sounds really nice on these, similar to like a KRK. It sounds different than the Yamaha, because the Yamaha is your upfront frequencies, and it also has a soundstage, but there's more depth in something like this. I do see why they're $1,400. I go back and forth between taking my Genelec and Yamahas and switching them right here, so I can see what either sound like closer or with more soundstage. The soundstage on this is crazy. If my Yamaha is burned to the ground, which I hope never happens, I know I would still be able to make amazing mixes on this. And I have these with my Yamaha because, like I said, I know the Yamaha gives me that mid to upper mid information very, very clear. I feel like they're lacking on the lower mids. If there's a little scoop, I can see it, I can feel it, I can hear it. And then you have sub. I can be listening to a mix, click my Alt button on my Apollo Twin X, and they put that lower mid information right in my face. So I feel like I'm hearing everything. I feel like I'm hearing everything, and I feel like I'm able to see the soundstage in a particular light going back and forth between Yamaha and Genelec. So, to be honest, these are completely different speakers. Yamaha shows the up, these show the down. If you get these, you're missing something from the Yamaha. If you get the Yamaha, you're missing something from these. That's why I have both. Now, obviously, these are expensive, $1,400. These are expensive, but I'm paying them off in payments. I mean, anyone can do that, or try to get them on eBay, or if you're buying out control, pop out the $1,400. But compared to the Yamaha and these, for me, I would rather have the Yamaha, because that's what I'm used to. That's what I started out with. Those are the frequencies that I've just convinced myself are the most important. That's not my decision to make for you, but if you had to decide which one of these to get, I can see why someone would pick just the Genelec, especially if they're doing mainly hip-hop, which is what I mainly do. If you're doing mainly hip-hop or EDM or R&B, these give a lot of information in the lower mids, which means your bass will sound very detailed. If you're a fan of KRK, or you have a KRK or PreSonus, or like JBL 305, something akin to that, you know what I'm talking about. The speaker sounds bassy. That's what this sounds like, and the soundstage is great. So this is my Yamaha versus Genelec video. I hope I gave you guys some information. They really are completely different speakers. This one wasn't too difficult. I think soon I'm going to do another video. I actually came from FL Studio, my first doll of FL Studio. You guys have been seeing Pro Tools up. I've had to force myself to start learning Pro Tools. It's a bitch. I'm sure anyone who's done it has known it's frustrating as hell. But I think I'm going to do a video for FL users going into Pro Tools, like just a transition video for those who might need that.